Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, October 25th, 2018. I'm Todd Bales.
And I'm Jayla.
Attention class of 2019. Jocelyn's will be at West Carrollton High School at all lunches on October 31st for graduation orders. You must purchase a cap and gown unit from Jocelyn's to participate in graduation ceremonies. Please order now to save money. After December 15th, the price goes up. Questions? See Ms. Babin, room 307.
All students, sign-ups for the dodgeball tournament are going on now. Please sign up in the main office and take a permission slip. All student players must meet the requirements and pay a $3 player's fee. Questions? See Ms. Babin, room 307.
Students, please complete the student survey that was sent to your student email in reference to Red Ribbon Week. All responses will remain anonymous.
Powder Puff participants, please return Powder Puff uniform. You will not get your report card until your uniform is returned to Ms. Mitchell in 404.
This Friday is senior night for football. Football cheer, band, and guard. It is not only our team's last home football game, but the seniors' last game. It will be a great game, and it's a very important game for our seniors. Come out and support. Senior night will start shortly after 6 p.m., so be sure to be there early.
1 week from today, members of the Dayton Dragons staff will be here during lunch to talk about ways to join their team in 2019 with multiple job opportunities. Plan on stopping by their table on Thursday, November 1st.
Wednesday, October 31st is the annual Halloween dress-up day. Staff and students are encouraged to dress up for Halloween. Rule number 1, the dress code still applies. Rule number 2, masks and/or full-face coverings are not permitted. Rule number 3, face paint is permitted if a student is recognizable. And rule number 4, have fun.
Now to sports with Desi and Chanel.
All girls interested in playing basketball, tryouts will be Friday 3:30 to 5:30 and Saturday 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Love trivia? Want to earn a varsity letter? Do you like pizza? Come on out and become part of a great team. Academic Challenge is looking for you. Practice is every Tuesday from 3 to 3:45 in room 404.
If you are interested in trying out for the bowling team, even if you were unable to attend the meeting, please see Ms. Bayless in room 208 for important information.
Anyone interested in wrestling needs to attend this informational meeting Monday in room 217 at 3:05 p.m. They will be introducing the new coach, going over program expectations, practice and tournament schedule, open mass, and the mandatory parent meeting date. You can also sign up for the Wrestling Room 9 at WCHS-WRESTL. Bring workout clothes for weightlifting immediately following the meeting.
Now to close with Jayla and Todd.
The next We Can Help Serve meeting will be this Friday after school from 3 to 3:30 in room 313. Please see Ms. Brooks, Ms. Parks, or Ms. Vanderpool with any questions.
Happy birthday today to Paige Johnson McGill and Mr. Coleman.
Today we continue with part 2 from yesterday's Red Ribbon Week video, along with another personal story.
Hi, my name is Charles Eastlick. I'm the school therapist here at West Carrollton High School, and I've been asked to talk briefly about opioid problems, drug use that I've seen in my probably 30 plus years doing this work. Unfortunately, I've seen way too many bad stories. Some of the stories that I can think of, it's about one man who used to come into our agency when I worked in Cincinnati, and he would be high every now and then, and he would come in and trying to get him help, get him trying into recovery, and it just wouldn't work. It's something he wasn't ready to do, and one day I noticed him walking up the sidewalks stumbling, and he fell down in the front yard there of our agency, and he still had a needle hanging out of his arm that he had been using just earlier before coming up to our agency, and we called the ambulance. They came and got him, and he died shortly thereafter in the hospital. So he basically died with the needle still in his arm. The other thing is I see too many stories where students are affected, children are affected. The parents make the decision to use, and then they die, or it causes their marriage to go bad, and the kids are left alone. They're left to live with grandma and grandpa. They're left to be in foster care. Right now in Montgomery County, foster care, Children's Services is just crying for foster parents because there are so many kids that have been removed from the home because of parents' drug use. There's too many kids that sit here at this desk right here in West Carrollton in the high school who have lost parents to drug abuse, and no kid should ever have to go through that. No mother, no father should ever have to go through that.
Good morning. I'm Mrs. Hafner. I'm the high school principal, and I'm here to talk to you about a story that involved my family that is related to drug abuse. I'm from a very religious family, and myself and my sister always did very well in school. My brother struggled. He kind of got with the wrong crowd in high school. Started smoking weed in high school, didn't graduate on time, but finally did graduate. After high school, he got with a worse crowd, and this was years ago, and that was when crack was the big thing, and he got involved with crack, ended up selling crack in order to feed his habit, which was about $500 a day at the time, and he ended up, they ratted him out basically because they got caught, so they ratted him out, and he was arrested, and he was imprisoned for 5 years for dealing crack cocaine. I will say that my family is very fortunate that he was busted, because otherwise he would be dead today. He's 6'1", and when he was arrested, he weighed about 120 pounds. So you can imagine he looked emaciated. Drugs tore him up. Thankfully, he spent his time in jail. He got out. He's been okay since. And I just want to let everybody know that, I'm from a very strong family, and it can happen to any family, to any person, and it can and will destroy your life. And fortunately for Brent, my brother, he was caught before it killed him.
So your name is Mrs. Earl, and
Yes.
you're here today because your stepson was in the hospital for using drugs, correct?
Correct, yes.
So let me start off with the first question. How old was he when this happened?
He was 15 at the time.
Was he still in high school, just a freshman?
Yeah, just a freshman in high school.
Okay. What kind of activities did he do, like band, sports?
He was involved in marching band. He also did the jazz band and different choir and band groups, so he was very involved with different activities in the school, and he would do a different club here and there also.
Okay. What were his grades? Did he have good grades, bad grades?
Prior to the incident, he had decent grades. He was at least an A, B, C student, didn't fail any classes, and would have decent grades up through that point.
Did he usually spend time with you and the rest of your family a lot?
Yeah, we did a lot. We have shared custody with his mom, but we did, every time we were with him, we would do family activities. He'd come and visit us and my family. We'd hang out at the lake, we'd go camping, we'd go hiking.
And before this happened, he was a really good kid.
He was a great kid. He always had a lot of fun hanging out with us. He was laughing. He was having a good time. We enjoyed being around him. We knew what he was doing in school and in his life, and it was just a lot of fun to be a family.
Now, when this mysterious kid introduced him to this white pill, was he ever found? Was he ever charged of anything?
So according to my stepson, when he took the pill, he doesn't know what the pill was, and he claims that after he took it, it wiped out his memory of the day. Whether that's true or not, he just didn't want to get the kid in trouble, I don't know, but he said he couldn't remember who gave him the pill or anything about that day's incident.
Now, when you got this call, I'm guessing it was nighttime, correct?
Yeah, we were laying in bed at the time when we got the call.
And you got this call, and what was the first thought that ran through your mind when you got this call?
Fear, anxiety over, we had no idea what happened. The call we got was very vague, didn't really describe a lot of what was going on, just that he was in the hospital. And it wasn't even from his mom we got the call, it was from a friend. And so at that time we were just incredibly anxious and scared of what we were going to encounter.
Right, like any parent would be.
Right, yeah.
Now, what did he look like at the hospital?
So when we got to the hospital, he was in the ICU. He actually started off at the Atrium Medical Center in Middletown, and at that point they couldn't get him conscious or have him breathe on his own. So he had to be ventilated, and at that point they loaded him into the helicopter to be care flighted over to Cincinnati Children's. So we had heard that point, and so when we heard he was being care flight and was on a ventilator, not breathing on his own, we were scared of him even coming out of it. So we got to ICU, and when we came in, he had tubes hooked up to his mouth. He had all the machines around him, and it was just a very frightening thing to see your son hooked up and not breathing on his own.
Great. Now, how long was he in the hospital for this?
He was in the hospital for a couple days. They had to wait until he could actually be taken off the ventilator to breathe on his own, and then make sure there was no repercussions from the pill that he took. So it was a couple days that he was in there.
Now, after all this mess happened, did he change? Did he change his ways, physically or emotionally?
Yes, both changed, and it's been kind of a roller coaster since. After this happened, his grades went down. He was very distant. Right after it happened, he was thankful he was here and was family oriented. But then after that kind of adrenaline of being alive ran away, then he was just not the same old kid, not as excited, not as happy to do family things, not motivated. His grades suffered, and it was just a different kid.
Now, you don't have to answer this question, but do you know if he still does this kind of stuff anymore?
Well, we found, so prior to this incident, we found out that a kid in the band group had given him Adderall. He said he wasn't awake enough to do his work and to compete, and felt like he needed it to be more active. And so we knew that that was going on. We did find out through looking at his phone that he had gotten into marijuana and was smoking, and by himself and with other kids. Since we've found a vaping pen under his pillow. But it's been really sad because this was a couple years ago, and ever since really this happened, we haven't seen him as much because our environment is one of rules and structure and being safe and not getting into those things. And unfortunately, his Middletown home environment is much different. And so he's able to be around all of that, so he chooses to take that path instead of be with us.
Yeah. So you would say, do you have a message for people who are using drugs to this day? What would you say to them now?
Well, I would say it can happen to anybody. Here we have a band kid who you would think is typically a good kid. We have someone who was getting good grades, and from our end, when he was with us, a very supportive family. And so it's something that no matter who you are, it doesn't have to be that you're a troublemaker or that you don't get good grades or that you're not involved. I mean, he was the opposite of that. And so I think just the warning that even the littlest thing can lead to other things. I mean, with the pill, then he smokes marijuana and other things that we may not even know about because we don't see him that much anymore. So just be cautious of trying that first thing because it can lead to a lot of others.
Well, I'd like to thank you for your time and